right. Good evening, everybody. Let's do a brief sound check. How's everybody doing tonight? Let's go through. I'll wait. Sound and audio check or audio visual check. Scared the crap out of you. Thank you, Coach Hoop. Sounds good. Looks good. Let's go ahead and get it started. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Slow Markets. I'm Coach Dakota, Coach CBA. As always, there is our Topstep risk disclosure in the YouTube chat. Everything that we go over tonight is for educational purposes only. How did everybody trade today? Did you guys and girls have a green day or red day? I traded the London session last night. I made a little bit of money, and then I slept the rest of the day. So no trading for me. Terrible green, red. It looked like it was a messy day. It was a chop fest. We have been selling off. So, past two 150K accounts. Already done, Skylar. We just got started. Red, green. So it was a really messy day, it looks like. So let's get started. We'll go through our regular rapid fire. Here's the Nasdaq on the daily chart, and we're looks like we're finally getting a pullback. We're getting that pullback. You can see that rally, consolidation, and now as of today and going into tonight, we are starting to pull back. We're starting to sell off. We're sitting here at breaking into these 800s. It looks like we broke down through 21,000. We're at 20,890s. And where can this thing go now that we're getting a decent pull off? Well, first thing I'm looking at is we look at least I look at very basic support and resistance. Are we going to find a level of support or resistance in this zone? That's one level. Another level that I'm watching to see is how we react around basically where we are at now. You can see this was major resistance. We hesitated here back in July. So I'm curious to see how we react now. Obviously, the more closer the price action, the more important it is in the way that I believe it. So yeah, maybe we could come down here and see somewhere between 700s. Maybe we could see the 700s. I'm not sure. I mean, we're selling off, right? Is this a pullback or is this a reversal? I typically do not like pullbacks to have this kind of a consolidation where this was consolidating. Now we're pulling back. I'm looking at this as still a pullback, maybe a buy the dip market. But how far will we dip? That's going to be the next question. And if we take our regular measured moves, and if we see whenever we have these sell-offs or have these pullbacks and have something dramatic happen, maybe we can see something similar where maybe that's to the bottom of that consolidation. If we start to measure some of these smaller in comparison, and we say, well, sometimes we sell off about this much. I mean, we still have some ways to go. So I do believe that this market is not done pulling back or selling off. I see some in the chat saying a double top. I mean, sure, that could also be possible. We failed to continue to hold all-time highs, right? We made all-time highs, we hesitated, and now we're pulling back. So this I'm looking for the 700s, upper 700s, lower 800s. So let's zoom into an hourly chart, and yeah, we could further to do analysis. So that was quite the sell-off. It's an interesting thing to see because I was sleeping through it all. The first thing is there was some buyers stepping in. We could look at on our way up. How did we react on our way up? There was a little bit of support right there. Right here at the 880s. Will this support become support again? I'm not sure. We're going to see. There was a lot of consolidation in this zone anyway, and it looks like we're just kind of just sailing off through that. And yeah, maybe we see these 860s might come into play sooner rather than later. The next area of support or resistance that I'm going to be watching is there was a lot of wicks. This was during the election, right? This was the election week, where there's a lot of wicks right here at the 800 level. Then, of course, 729s. But I think overall, from a major standpoint, I think I'm just going to see if we could have the market come down to this zone. This is a pretty decent sized zone, but right around 700. Right around 700, this is where I'm going to look for the market to get to. Maybe if there's a pullback, and then we could get a continuation to the downside. But yeah, there's no sense of fighting this sell-off until we get some type of structure, some type of market structure that will say, okay, maybe this was just a pullback, maybe we're starting to bottom, and we might, have a bounce or a continuation to maybe go to all-time highs. I'm not sure. We just have to trade what's in front of us. Where is the Fibonacci's? I was going to talk about Fibonacci's. So if we're going to judge from the Fibonacci's, right, how do we want to do that? Because I know there's a lot of Fibonacci traders where maybe we're going to do it at the bottom, this low, or are we going to do it from the start of this? Either way, I mean, yeah, that makes a pretty big difference. I don't know who in the chat trades Fibonacci's, and where would you do Fibonacci levels? Because I've seen traders do a few different ways, and I mean, essentially, I'm not that great of a Fibonacci trader, but from the bottom of what? Because I've seen traders do it from the bottom of this pivot, and I've also seen traders do it from the bottom of the start of the rally. So I've seen traders do this. I've seen traders do like a little bit lower, and the difference isn't too much. It's like 20, 30 points, but I mean, obviously that can make a major difference. Bottom of the pivot. Okay, someone's saying bottom of the pivot. Bottom of the swing low. So right there. So right about there. And then the top, right? So yeah, room to go. Right down 830s. Now, everything I look at is zones, and it's not exactly lining up to anything. So maybe that can be some type of indication where we might come down to somewhere in this zone. I'm not sure. I'm not a Fibonacci trader, but we'll see. That's going to be something that's interesting. I always like to talk about stuff like this where it would make sense to me if we can get down here, because I'm sure everybody who's watching this is probably thinking the same thing, right? Me, you, everybody else watching this market is wondering the same thing. Is this just a pullback, or is this a continuation? Everybody else knows what a Fibonacci is. Everyone, can do these very basic technical analysis. And yeah, there's probably looking at this pivot. And so maybe there's going to be buyers that step in right here, and then this could be a great place where maybe we get a little bit of a bounce, and then we run some stops and then get down here into this zone. I'm not sure. The only thing we know for a fact is that we're selling off. We've been selling off for the past 5 hours? I mean, since the London session. Since the London session, we have been selling off. Like, it's been quite the sell-off all day today. And even so, going into the afternoon, it just kept getting more and more momentum to the downside. And even the past hour, we're down, 30, 40 points over the past hour? Let's zoom in. I'm going to zoom in for another 5-minute chart. And yeah, it's quite the sell-off. Where did we close? Let me look and see. Where did we close today in power hour? So we closed basically right there, really close to 21,000. So we're 100 points down from where we closed at. And then where we opened up at 5 p.m. Central, we're 70, 80 points down from where we opened tonight to start the new day, to start the new trading day at 5 p.m. Central. And so there's a lot of bearish pressure on this market. I don't want to sell it down here because, let's see, a lot of times the market can retrace or at least have a little bit of a pullback. We're down 0.44. So I would not be surprised if overnight we do get some type of a bounce, some type of a pullback, and then have that continuation to the downside. We're down 0.44. I don't like buying it here. I also don't like selling it. right? Because if I'm going to sell this, it's hard to have a really good risk reward. It's hard for me anyway, to find an entry, right? Maybe just a breakout trade. If we break through, we find continuation back down. What do we see? These 830s. If we lower this and further, so maybe 830s, 820s, and stop losses just have to be tight, right? So I'll wait for a pullback. I think that's what I'm going to be doing, but it's bearish, obviously lower lows, lower highs. And as I'm watching this market, we're continuing to push lower. Anyway, moving on. Let me know in the chat. You guys just keep on watching these markets. If something happens, you can see I'm looking to place trades, but I'm not seeing anything too attractive. It's not a very slow market. As you guys could see, we're pushing lower. We're continuing to push lower. And so we're seeing a bit more volatility than normal for this time. And we're continuing to push the lows. Okay, moving on. Let's take a look. We're going to go through all these markets, and then we'll keep watching to see if there's any trades set up. So crude oil, we finally did get a pullback. We got that pullback. We rallied throughout the day. We got up to 69.40, and we got right there. We got to where this gap started, and there was some resistance. So this is what I wanted to see in crude, and maybe we end up continuing back down and come back towards $67 a barrel. This market's bearish, and that's what I was looking at last night. I joined D for the London session, and yeah, we were looking for some type of a bounce, some type of a pullback, and I think that was it, where we got to these 69s, these mid to lower $69 a barrel, and now we are selling right back down, and it looks even tonight we're starting to push. So maybe we could at minimum get to 68, maybe test the upper 67s, somewhere around this level of support. And then if we do break through that, this is a crazy wick to the downside. It is rollover week, so that's something to be aware of. And so because of that, I'm not going to be placing any trades until the rollover is finished. You can see we're in the Z contract. I'm going to wait until probably Monday until I find a decent trade in crude oil. Now let's move on to the Nikkei. The Japanese market. Japanese market is another interesting one. I placed a trade last night. It worked out okay. I had one loss and then one winner, and man, even on some test accounts, I was taking some losses on the Nikkei. It was a rough one last night. Let's take a look at that one. Okay, this is the hourly chart. This has been a nice area of support. This was last night where we came down to 38,500s. Immediately rallied, and we pushed back up towards we broke through 39,000 again, and tonight it looks like we're seeing a lot more volatility tonight in this as well. Let me look at the 5-minute chart, and you guys could see that where we're kind of just consolidating in this range. So maybe, yeah, I'm actually liking a short here. I'm gonna hop into a short. Let's see if I could get triggered into a short on the Nikkei. Looking for this market to just continue to consolidate. So what I'm looking at is a consolidation. And if we can continue to consolidate, maybe we could sell off back down towards these 700s, 600s to this lower end. I'm going to watch this real quick for a moment before I move on to gold. Watching this before we move on. If we could get a fill, I have an order, sell order at 895. Is this one where Nikkei is hard to get in sometimes? You guys have been seeing me miss quite a bit of opportunities here in this market. So we'll see. Because we did reject right here at the 39,100s. Reject, sold all the way back down. That was quite the sell-off. So we'll see. We'll see if I could get filled. Yeah, I like it. There's a lot of support here. And so maybe we just bare minimum test these 800s, test these lower 800s, and then have an opportunity to sell off. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to keep my stop. I'll risk about $650. 650 seems right to me. You know, I'm going to watch it. $900, $1,000. I'm going to keep this. I might close it out manually. That's just to get, you know, not so I don't get whipsawed out, because let's watch it. I'm going to pay attention to this a little bit more. And as always, I'm going to go ahead and start this, and you guys can watch that trade. And I'm going to go ahead and move this one, and we could move on to the next market, which is gold. Let's take a look at gold. Gold starting to sell off. Is this the 5-minute? Let's take a look at the hourly on gold. And we did get a bounce. We finally got a little bit of a pullback here in gold. We got down. I was, like I said, I was in the London session with D, and that's about where we were. We were at the 2540s, and me and her were looking at the market very similar, looking for, you know, this zone. Like, this is a decent zone, and looking for the upper end of this zone somewhere. I mean, that's an ugly line. Somewhere in this area to become, you know, this was resistance, for it to become support. We started the rally right here in these 40s, and that is, you know, so far that's where we got the bounce from the 2540s. It's been a decent rally. And so the next question that we have been asking in gold is this just a pullback, right? Is this a pullback, and then we're just going to see a continuation to the downside? Or is this going to be something more? Or are we going to see a flagging pattern? You see how we've seen this flagging pattern earlier in the week? So maybe we could see something like that, where gold can sell off and then maybe start some type of a flagging pattern. That is something I'm thinking that can happen. Is sometimes markets need to form some structure. I'm not seeing a lot of structure here. I think there could have been a decent opportunity to short this. I was maybe during the New York session where we've rallied up, consolidated, and now we're starting to sell off a little bit in gold. I'm going to wait. Let's see what market structure gold's going to show us, where maybe we do have a pullback down here towards these 2550s. This is an hourly chart, so I can see this becoming maybe support again. Maybe if we get down to these 2556s and we see some type of reversal, then I could be tempted to look for a long to come back up and test this, and then kind of play a range or play a flagging pattern. But until then, I think this is another market. Tomorrow is Friday. Today is technically the Friday session, right? And so I'm not too inclined to be putting a lot at risk and be too inclined to taking so many trades on a Friday. So we'll see. Let me zoom into a 5-minute chart and zoom in. Yeah, there's a decent opportunity to short this. It looks like it was a possible double top, right? And then when we broke through the previous, you know, pivot low and the higher low, right, where we was making higher lows, and then you can see it pretty clear. And once we did start to break through it, we tested, we consolidated. It looks like we tried again tonight, and then we failed, and now we're pushing, and we're actually continuing to sell off right in front of us. We did break through the support that we had this afternoon and throughout the session, and so maybe we do come down towards these 63s. That's going to be this is a decent area, these 53s. This is a decent area where you can see a lot of support and resistance here. And so I could see these are 63s. Yeah, so I could see maybe this be the first level. So if I was already short, this would be my first target. I'd be looking for this zone to be a target of mine. And then the next target is going to be down here at this next level, where there is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7, pivots or bounces off this level. Until then, I think it's just another market where we're kind of in the middle of a move, or just already starting, and it's a little bit too late to enter. We'll see. Let's take a look at Nasdaq. We'll keep watching the Nasdaq. Same with the Nasdaq, and then of course the Nikkei. We'll see how the Nikkei treats me tonight. It's have a love-hate relationship with this market sometimes. That's for sure. So let's get to a few questions tonight. I'm going to continue to keep an eye on the market. Obviously, we'll watch this trade, see how that plays out. And yeah, let's get to some questions and bounce back and forth through these markets and enjoy a nice class. Any idea when Topstep will expand more indicators? So over here on the Topstep X, there is a support on the left-hand side. There's a question mark. If you click on that, you could see Topstep X and the team is continuing to add features all the time. You can see in here, if you have Topstep X, you could see anybody, right? You could come in here and vote this up. You could vote it down. You could see what's planned. You could see what's finished. You could see what's in progress. And you can even, if you want, make a suggestion. They are moving slow with adding indicators. How to use the 100 tick chart. Chicago Trader, I do know it's in order of priority and in order of, obviously, what's more what's ahead, right? What has been voted more, what has been voted the most, and then what's priorities. And I know for a fact, functionality, making sure everything's running smooth is obviously the number one priority. That is not a, what do you call it? It's not hidden. Going through some of these questions, Coach Dakota or Coach Hoop, do you trade multiple accounts at the same time, not copy trading or one at a time? Enzo, yes. Not day trading. And what I mean by that, and I think I understand your question, is do I trade multiple accounts? That's not copy trading. So I have an options account. Okay. I have accounts where I have longer term trades. I have like short term trades. I have a decent sized portfolio to where I'm always having open positions. And then I have an account where I day trade, but not copy trading. I've been waiting for pivot points for some time. In Black Friday, do you have a promotion? Okay, going through. I'm sure you talked about this in the past, but where can I find where you find the confidence to stay in your trades? Those who tune in and watch Topstep TV or watch slow markets every night, they will, like everybody in here, if you've been around and if you watch slow markets long enough, you'll understand where that confidence comes from. It is knowing that there's absolutely no emotions when it comes to trading. Like why would you have an emotion when it comes to trading? And the answer is going to be because of money, and everyone's emotionally connected to money. And then there's the ego where traders are afraid to lose. And yeah, it's just process over profits. That's the answer to probably 9 times out of 10 to those types of questions. It's focusing on the process and focusing on following that process and improving that process. And that's as simple as it gets. Yeah, it's not as complicated as maybe one might assume or that one typically makes it. It is in your statistics. Yep, trade the process. Yeah, and I think a lot of that confidence can come from practice. And the more you practice and understand your statistics over a longer period of time, then the more confident you get, right? I'm going to keep this trade on a short leash, so to speak, where if I do see us finding support here, I might just close it out early, because this is the risk, right? When you're playing a breakdown or a breakout trade and you're getting in to a position to play for this market to continue and break down, that's the risk, because when you are getting in at a level this is pretty near support, because this is a support level, then obviously the risk is that we bounce off support again. It's, yeah, I mean, that's as obvious as it gets, right? So I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to be a little bit more prone to closing this one out early than I normally do. Oh, here's an interesting. Okay, hi coach, I need help. I took $6,000 in payouts at the beginning of this month. And after that, I blew the XFA account. I blew the XFA right after and been blowing every combine I get. It's like I forgot how to trade. What do I do? So I see this a lot. Okay, I see this a lot more than I wish I should, or at least I wish I did, is everyone that goes through, they pass a combine, they get into the XFA, and as soon as they qualify for a payout, they take a payout. And the question is, how much of a payout should you really take, right? Because if you take out $6,000 and you don't leave enough cushion or buffer to continue trading, then you are, definitely at risk of blowing the account, right? And then maybe you start to let that get to you emotionally. And it seems like over the past week, I've been talking more about the psychological side. I've been talking more about the emotional side, because that is what we see. That is what we go through as traders, because that's the biggest hurdle in trading, is the emotional side. Is you took the $6,000 payout, you're probably feeling on top of the world. You're feeling very excited. You made, that's a good amount of money. It is that. $6,000. That can also be life-changing, right? Pay off debt, catch up on bills. I mean, you can imagine what you can do with $6,000. So you withdraw $6,000, and then the first thing and the first instinct is like, oh, I could do it again, and I'm a good trader. I'm starting to, things are working out. It's making sense, and you end up blowing the XFA, and then you start to have the mindset. And I know everybody has this, maybe feeling this same mindset, is you just want to get back to where you were, right? It's like, oh man, I just want to get back to where I was. I just want to get back to where I started, or I just want to start over or get back there. And in that journey to try and get back to where you were, you don't follow the same process you do not follow the same process that you did to get you there in the first place, right? You try and start taking shortcuts because you could do it. And once you know you could do something, then you tend to cheat. You tend to take shortcuts because you have that overconfidence that you've done it once, you could do it before, and you start taking shortcuts. And I've seen that. That might not be what is at play regarding this, but I can almost guarantee you it's some type of emotions. It is emotions. If you got there, I could guarantee you that you can do it again, and you're in your own way. You are in your own way. Holding for winners versus taking smaller profits more consistently. Mixed beans, that depends, right? I'm always for holding winners and cutting losses, but there's plenty of successful strategies out there that have a high win percentage and an equal or an upside down risk reward. It's a lot harder emotionally. The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. Yes, absolutely love that book. How long did it take you to become profitable? I would say 5 years. 5 years until I felt confident. 5 years of struggle. 5 years of struggle. But I never did have the type of platform that you guys have. And I want to make sure that's clear. 5 years sounds like a long time, but 5 years for me is when I was a kid. It was when I started learning. I never did have a, environment like Topstep has built here. I never did have a community. I didn't have any trading friends, and it was all like by myself, learning it out the hard way. I've seen some really good traders who 6 months, right? 6 months until they say, I've started being consistent. You see traders here in the chat, 1 month and they started taking a payout, right? So it depends. Everyone goes through it at their own pace. So it's hard for me to do that. 5 years, earning a master's degree. Yeah, that's what it is, right? How long does it take to earn a college degree? And what's your income after you graduate? Because if you're going for a master's degree, it's going to be a long time, right? And then after you get your master's degree, that's when the work starts. You still have to apply for jobs. You still have to find a job. And then you do find a job and say you're making, it's still not absolutely, it's not comparable to trading, right? Because you tell me there's not many master's degrees that can earn what we can earn here in trading, right? Because I mean, I try and point this out to some of my friends where it's like, yeah, I got a master's degree. It's like, okay, I don't have a master's degree myself. I have a bachelor's. I have my own bachelor's degree. And even if I did have a master's degree, I'm not going to be earning this type of money in 3 months, right? It took me 3 months to get to this size from Topstep X in this. Very rarely will you find someone with master's degree that can do this and then work from home and only work a few hours a day, right? And so there is a level of hard work and dedication to get to a point where you could start making a decent amount of money or start making money for a living, because it's not an easy road. If it was easy, everyone could do it and everyone would be able to make money at that, right? Nikkei is sure taking its time. Okay, I'm moving my stop loss, managing risk. Let's see if we could push here. Nasdaq's starting to sell off a little bit. Do I work full time? Nope, I don't. I am not a W-2 employee. I do not work for a company. I am my own boss. I do not have a job. This is what I love to do. This is what I love to do. I love to trade. I trade for a living, and I love to do this with Topstep. It's a partnership. Ed, no. No, unfortunately, insurance is expensive. Insurance is expensive. I do a, so this can be my last comment on here, and we need to get back on topic. I did a lot, and I still do a lot of advising for international and supply chain, but I'm doing that as an advisor, as a director. And that is like, yeah, 1 hour a day. Used to be more, but then the nice thing about this is you can delegate that stuff. Anyway, let's move on. That's gonna be like, it's not about me. It's about everybody here. It's about learning. It's about how do we become consistent and successful traders and start to get to the point that you want to, right? Hey, Wizard, I might take you up on that. You know what? I'm gonna be honest. It gets to a point where you start to enjoy doing that type of work. So I did come from coal mines, working in the coal mines, and it gets to the point to where it's like, hey, I need to go do something, right? You work out, you go travel, you do this, you do that, and it's like, wow, I enjoy doing, like, fixing a tire, working on motors and building a car and doing some of that manual labor. It really is. But it's not something I want to do for a living, or I would ever want to do. I'm navigating a 9-to-5 with trading. How do you manage that early on? Jeremy, that is why I love what I'm starting here in slow markets. In case you guys didn't know, the reason why I started trading during slow markets and the reason why I have this class and I started this class was because of traders like you, Jeremy. Was when I was younger, I was going to college, and when I was going to college, I had to pay for everything myself. I come from a very humble family, and so I had to pay for everything myself, and the only way I could pay for it is having a job. And so I was in college full time, and then I had a part-time job. And so from the moment I woke up, it was college and work. And then I would get home late at night, and it's like 9, 10 p.m. And then I would do some homework, and I would only have a couple hours to look at the markets. And that was this time. This time is when I would have some homework to do, and I could do my homework right now, and I could watch the markets. These markets are slow. They're not moving fast. So that gave me the freedom to study and do my homework while having a chart up and watch these markets. And then I would do what you guys see me do every single night tonight. I analyze on a higher time frame. I'll let trades run overnight, and then I'll go to bed and I'll just do it all over again. Because the nice thing about futures is it's open 23 hours Monday or Sunday night through Friday afternoon, and I don't have to trade the New York session. I didn't have to sit in front of my computer during the London session. So I was able to go to college, work part-time, and then find a way to trade these markets. And surprisingly, when I started seeing these different trading communities, everyone was just talking how amazing the New York session is, and say the only way to trade is the New York session. And I'm just like, no, that's BS, because there's the Asian session, which is profitable. Then there's the London session that's profitable. And there's these really amazing opportunities and moves in the market that happen while the New York traders are sleeping, right? We have a whole entire world, and these markets are open during those periods of time. And you guys know, you see it, right? This happens every single night. Not every single night, but look, this was from when we opened at 5 p.m. Central to where we're at now, the Nasdaq sold off 85 points. There's plenty of nights where I see the Nasdaq move hundreds of points, right? And over here on the right-hand side, like here we go. This is the Nikkei. It's the Japanese market. They are open. Everyone's awake. The market's open. Everything's moving. And this is more than what I made during a part-time job, right? And I've been sitting here for, what is this? 37 minutes. So 37 minutes, I could close this out for $200, $275. And that's more than most part-time jobs in a day. So yeah, that's why, Jeremy. And I know it's hard, because then I've talked to people with a full-time job and then a family, a wife, a kids, and when they get done with their job, they don't, like, of course, your wife or husband doesn't want you to come home from a job and then immediately get on the computer and start trading, or spend that time on your phone looking at the markets. They want your time and attention. So it can be tough. It really can. But, all you really need is, 1, maybe 2 hours a day. And it doesn't matter what time of day. You can analyze the markets the same way. Pretty Lily, that is your story. That's a lot of stories. It is, where you have a spouse, husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, family, and when you're gone all day working or whatever you have going on in your life, and they don't want you to come home and then spend your free time looking at markets when they don't see, and it's very hard to see, like, the profit, right? And then when you get your first payout and you say, like, hey, here, babe, here's $6,000. And they're like, wow, where did that come from, right? And yeah, this is how much money I made this week. And then it's like, okay, wait, maybe there is something to this trading. So anyway, yeah, that was a fun conversation. Let's get back to these markets. Nothing's really happening. We're kind of just sitting near these lows here on the Nikkei, and we know that if the Nikkei does move, it can move very fast. And let's look at this. This is a 5-minute chart. Yeah, this was last night. Remember that big sell-off? That was a big move. And so maybe we could see something similar tonight. I don't know. We're still testing these lows. I'm liking it. I'm going to be looking for a way to manage my risk. If we can make another pivot, I'll move my stop loss and continue to do that. But Nasdaq, maybe, I mean, this is tempting. Don't get me wrong. This is very tempting. We're consolidating here, and it is very tempting to see if we could get into a long and get that pullback. But I'm going to stay away from the temptations of buying the Nasdaq pure and simply because, number one, I'm short the Nikkei. And number two, based off of this higher time frame, there's a chance that we just keep going down, right? I don't want to be the guy trying to buy a falling knife because I don't see area of support. Now, I could be wrong. We could keep bouncing and we could get a rally here in the Nasdaq, but I don't see a level that I like enough to buy it here. I would rather wait to see if we could get down into these 60s for buying opportunity. So I might be wrong. You know, if we bounce from here, it's always one of those things like, dang it, you know, the market didn't give me what I wanted, and now we're rallying without me. But that's okay. I would rather have the market go without me than to put myself into a bad position because of that. And you know how everyone knows how the Nasdaq reacts, right? We just run some stops, and we have something like this, and then immediately rally. So I've seen that before, and I don't want to put myself in a position until I get a level that I like. 15-minute 3-bar reversal. I don't look at the 15-minute, but I see what you see. For me, a 3-bar reversal would not be happening on the 15-minute until we cross, say, 902, right? This right now, this is the main reversal bar on the 15-minute right there. And so everything to the right is going to be considered, to me, consolidation. We're consolidation, we're inside, and it's not technically a 3-bar reversal until we break this candlestick's high. So this is the 15-minute, right? But I don't trade the 15-minute. I would do the same thing on the 5-minute. And, you know, the 5-minute, it would technically be this candlestick. The 5-minute is this one right here at this time. And so from the 5-minute, then I would say there would be the 3-bar reversal, which is similar to the 15-minute. You can see that there was a couple wicks higher, but this is the candle that has the lowest low because we're in a downtrend. And so I could see that. Yeah, let's take a look. Let's look at Bitcoin. What's Bitcoin doing tonight, everyone? We got a sell-off in Bitcoin. Okay, let's look at the hourly. Is Bitcoin done? Are we done rallying in Bitcoin? Let's take a look at the daily, actually. Ooh, I don't know. I don't know. That's an interesting. We've had 3 days of consolidation, and you know, is Bitcoin done? Is Bitcoin done going up for right now? I don't know. I don't know how Bitcoin reacts, but based off the previous history, whenever we do see candlesticks, and from a technical standpoint, that is a very indecisive candle, and if we do break below that candlestick, that would be a 3-bar reversal, right? From a technical standpoint, that's a 3-bar reversal. If we can break below 86,000, say, what is this, 800, whatever the low of this candlestick is. This is a daily chart, so maybe we get a pullback in Bitcoin. Now, that doesn't mean we're done with this rally, but maybe temporarily, sure. I could get behind and see that this could be a temporary maybe pullback or consolidation. I mean, markets don't just go straight up, right? Even though we're talking about Bitcoin, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how this one plays off. I would not be surprised if we get a deeper pullback here in Bitcoin. I don't know where it would go. I don't like the way that this gap is. Maybe we get a pullback down to, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we do a measured move, right? How are these measured moves on Bitcoin? I mean, we got this size of a pullback before. So, I mean, that's not much. That's not much. What about if we get one of these deeper pullbacks? I mean, these are pretty deep pullbacks here in Bitcoin if we're measuring them like that. And, I mean, they're similar. Are we going to get a pullback like that? Can we get a pullback? You know what? Maybe. Maybe we get something like that. I would not be surprised where this was resistance, right? This was resistance. We broke out of resistance. I mean, do we see a return and see if this resistance becomes support? I don't know. Yeah, $5,000 pullbacks are normal for Bitcoin. I mean, yeah, that's what it looks like. These are decent sized pullbacks, right? From 94,000 down to 88,000. Like, this is normal pullbacks. So I wonder if we're going to have a pullback that we've seen I mean, we've seen what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these deeper pullbacks in a year. This is just 1 year. So this is just 1 year. And we've seen 3 or 4 pullbacks of, 25%. That's insane. That's insane. 25% pullbacks like 3 or 4 times this year. 28%, 29% on that one. So these are pretty big moves. And so maybe we get something similar now. I mean, we've already pulled back 7%. So maybe we do see a bigger pullback on Bitcoin because of that consolidation. I don't know. I'm not going to trade it right now, but I could see it happening. I don't want to short Bitcoin. Who wants to short Bitcoin? But that could be the play. You could see that we are actually breaking some market structure, right? Where if we look and we're making these higher lows and higher low, and we've now officially broke that. And now we're doing the opposite. We're making a lower high, a lower high, maybe a lower high, and now we're making lower lows ever since we broke that. And so, this is a reversal pattern right there. So maybe we do see a deeper pullback in Bitcoin, or we just keep going up. Maybe we just keep going up. We were at 50K in August. That's crazy. Doubled. I mean, we haven't doubled since. There's plenty of other stocks out there and there's other markets, but it's still pretty cool to see just because of the entire market cap of Bitcoin. Wall Street gamblers probably went all in. I don't know, but I'm watching this Nikkei trade and not much happening, man. Not much happening on this yet. I want to see us push through it. We're watching. I'm watching it. Let's take a look. What does it look like on a 100 tick chart? Trying to push lower. Ooh, that looks pretty bearish to me on a 100 tick chart where there's big rejection right there. And let's see if we can push lower. I'm going to continue to watch it. I'm going to watch it from the 5-minute chart, actually. I want to see that happening. Okay. Bitcoin, irrational exuberance, irrational entity itself. Is it true that Topstep is not offering XFAs after passing combines in the near future? I'm not sure what you mean. Nothing has been announced when it comes to anything changing. There's been good conversation regarding live accounts and XFAs, but there's as of right now, there's no change. There's been no official email. I haven't got an official email either, but there's always going to be conversation of the future of futures, right? Do you ever watch the actual index when trading Nikkei to get a better idea of what's going on? I do not, Armando. Please explain why it looks so bearish. You're talking about the Nikkei, right? From a 100-tick chart, I said it looks bearish, and why I believe that the Nikkei looks so bearish is because, we're making lower highs, we're making lower lows, and right now we're consolidating, right? So we're kind of in a consolidation, and if you look at a higher time frame, say an hourly chart, consolidation. If we continue to zoom out, here's a 4-hour chart. We're consolidating, and this is, let me get rid of that thing. So this is a major rejection and, starting to sell off. So I could see us getting back down and maybe making another move to these lows, right? Maybe at least going to test these 38,700s. So now if I zoom in and say we look at the 100 tick chart, and the reason why I said it looks so bearish was because we tried to bounce off this. We actually did, right? We bounced. We went all the way up to 985, and then we rejected, and we came right back down here. And so a lot of times when I see this, right, what we're seeing, that helps me with a little bit more confidence. Nothing's 100%, that maybe we see that continuation down lower. Now, nothing's 100%. I'm sure there's plenty of examples of where there's patterns like this and we end up just, holding up and rallying. So nothing's 100% in the markets, and this is a very valid level of support. Like, this is a valid level of support. I could definitely make a reason to say, hey, I would love to be long, right, in this level of support with my stop loss below that, looking for us to rotate back to the upper end of this smaller consolidation. I'm playing the downside based off the higher time frames and based off of what I'm seeing. So I'm playing to the downside, and there's definitely a reason to say there's buyers stepping in, right? Because this is an area of support. I would not be surprised, and that's okay. I don't mind. That's the point of risk, right? There's nothing 100% in this market. There's never anything. The only thing that's 100% in this market is that nothing's 100%. Nasdaq, we rejected above 900 again, right? Look, we did get up to this. We did get up to these 910s, and we rejected, and we're sitting right at 900. Let's take a look. What's gold doing? We're going to take a look at gold. Gold's, was that the sell the bounce? Do we sell rallies in gold as well? That could be it. I'm not sure on that one. I'm not sure. We typically see that spike in volatility right at 8 p.m., but we're 22 minutes after 8 p.m. I'm not seeing too many things move. Crude oil. I do see a possible trade on crude. If we could break through this support trend line, then maybe a move down to 67.90s. That's not too big of a move. Yeah, this is a 5-minute chart. I could see that if we do break a continuation to the downside. Moving on, Nasdaq. Watch Nasdaq. I'm going to watch the Nasdaq, and I'm going to pay attention to this trade. This trade's not really doing anything. Not seeing too much movement here in the Nikkei, and I might even consider scratching this because we've consolidated here for quite a while. And so if we do push back up, I might just close this one out because this is a level of support. And like I said, there's a very valid reason for this to become support again. If I wanted to break out, I want it to go now. So maybe a time stop. On that. I'm going to pay attention. 100%, one can lose money. Yes, that's 100%. 100% Bitcoin rally. I don't know about that one. Okay, what's the benefit of using a 100 tick chart? It's a different perspective. It depends on how one would use it, right? On the Nikkei. So I want to go over why I use a 100 tick chart sometimes on the Nikkei. Is it makes the chart look cleaner. And by cleaner, you can see that there's gaps because if I show you the DOM, take a look at the DOM. Here's the DOM. So there's a lot of gaps because there's very low liquidity, and you can see where the last fill price. The last fill price was 875. The bid and ask is about 3 ticks above it. The bid's at 885, the ask is 895, and that's what creates these gaps. Low liquidity, there's not a lot of volume, and it has gaps sometimes. And so when I go to, instead of a 5-minute chart, a 100 tick chart, that means each candlestick is 100 transactions, 100 ticks, then it eliminates the gaps. It makes it look, and appear a lot cleaner. And for me, it can be easier to read. That is it. It's cleaning it up a little bit. That's the way I use it on the Nikkei. And I use it differently when I'm trading, say, on the Nasdaq, right? The Nasdaq, obviously, the Nasdaq has plenty of liquidity, and it's volatile, and you're not going to see a lot of gaps on the Nasdaq. I use it much differently. What did Jerome Powell say, by the way? I don't know. I didn't watch. Like I said, I slept through most of the day because I stayed up late for the London session. But I think he was like something down the middle of, well, let's take a look. Of like, we're not in a hurry to reduce rates. Yeah, that looks like it's the summary. I'm sure the chat knows more than I do, where it says, Powell says the Fed doesn't need to be, quote, in a hurry to reduce interest rates. So, I mean, if that's the gist and the summary of it, it kind of would make sense why we sold off, right? Is that kind of makes sense now? Why we sold off, right? Is that why we sold off this afternoon? I don't know when Powell talked, but I'm assuming that this sell-off can correlate somewhat with him talking, and the fact that they're not in a hurry can signal, some weakness in the markets. Can you give us a strategy for beginners? Every single night I go over a little bit of what I do, and the best strategy for beginners is going to be keeping it simple. Maybe use something like a moving average or a VWAP, and if the market's above it, look for longs. If the market's below it, look for shorts. Keep it super simple. We need okay, Dakota, some cities change the time frame in winter and summer time. Does that also affect the Asian in London? It does not. It does not affect the way they trade. It can affect on what time you trade, right? Because like Utah or Chicago, right? If you're in Chicago and daylight savings, so instead of trading at say 5 p.m., you're trading an hour earlier, an hour later. And you need to understand what times, because that can affect what time it is for you and what time the market's open and what time the market closes. So you do have to be aware of that. Does it affect the way the market moves? No. At least I don't think so, right? Maybe I can't even say no with that much confidence, because I'll never know why the market moves exactly the way it does. Like I said, I could make an assumption, and it's purely a guess, and say that the Nasdaq sold off because Jerome Powell said he's not in a hurry to reduce interest rates. So I'm making an assumption. Is that why? I don't know. You're in Asia, and the daylight savings has you confused. Yeah, that can definitely confuse a lot of people. Lower interest rates usually stimulate the economy. Are you still doing fundamental trading, Don? Not what you guys see here. Nope, nothing that you guys see, nothing that I talk about during class or during slow markets or when I'm trading at Topstep has nothing to do with fundamentals. It's pure technical. Pure technical analysis is what you guys will be seeing, what everyone sees, what I talk about. You always trade exactly the way I trade. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, because I lose a lot of the time. When are you trading? Are you using the regular extended hours? I mean, here on Topstep X, I haven't adjusted anything, and I'm in a trade right now. Just going through. D doesn't do live streams on Fridays. NQ looking like a lower high, probable. Lower high? I mean, we're trending down and to the right. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised that if we continue this trend, right? This trend might continue. Odds are trends continue. I would like it to continue. I'd like the Nikkei to sell off as well. You love the 1 hour? I mean, the higher the time frame, usually traders like higher time frames. Higher time frames are a little bit more consistent. Higher time frames are more consistent than lower time frames. That's typically what I have found in my trading. As of right now, yeah, you can have, as of right now, and this has been the conversation, you can have a live account and you can trade combines and XFAs. Yes. Until there's any official email, nothing's changed. We've had and enjoyed conversations with MP and the team on fast markets and on TopstepTV during the day show, but there's been nothing official. I'm sticking with my one live account. I am done trading XFAs. This is my one live account, and I think it's important to focus on one account as well. I've been saying that from the very beginning for a while. I mean, it's a good and a much needed conversation. What is an XFA? An express funded account. It's a simulated account that you can receive a payout based off of your trading and the profits that you do make in that simulated account. Do you try to improve your win rate? Oh, all the time. I'm always trying to improve my risk reward, and I'm always trying to improve my win rate. Yes, I am. I'm always trying to improve my own trading. I learn a lot from the other coaches here. I learn a lot from Coach Jay. I've learned a lot from Coach Paul and Vince, and being on air. I've learned a lot from Rips too. Rips, to be honest, is a really good trader. When he gets on the pocket, in the pocket, when he starts reading the market really well, man, it's a thing of beauty. I've learned a lot from him, and there's still a lot more for me to learn. Yeah, there's still a lot more for me to learn. I might just get out of this trade. We failed to break down, and we are holding 900. We're holding 38,900 pretty strong here. I was really wanting us and thinking that we could break through and break down there. We failed to do that. So finger on the button to close this position. Fingers on the button. Can you show your stats? Dakota was explaining your win rates. The stats is not on the live account, but I might whenever you transfer XFAs, it transfers the XFAs to your live. You do not have access to that, but yeah, I'll go through. I mean, you see my stats on the big board all the time, my win rates and everything else. I will not contact anybody. Nope. I will never DM anyone first. I stay away from DMs. So don't. If there's somebody out there saying that they are me through a DM, don't believe that. I will not DM anybody, and the people that I do directly message will know 100% it's me. I mean, I'm either in a meeting with them and I let them know, so you could see me, or I'm in class or any of that. So if you get a DM from me, or if you get a DM from someone pretending to be me, it's not. Block them. Yeah, I don't even have the time to deal with any of that either. Is that a 3-bar reversal on the 5-minute chart? To the downside, yes. This, not yet. The 3-bar reversal would technically not be until we break through, maybe 98, 99. You could make, yeah, I see what you see here. If we're talking about a 3-bar reversal on the 5-minute here on the Nasdaq, this is technically the reversal candle, and so we would need to break below that for a technical 3-bar reversal. But I do see some traders might consider this as the reversal bar, but we didn't make a new high on that. So just like down here, everything to the right is consolidation. Just like on this, everything to the right of this candle is consolidation. And I wouldn't be too confident taking a short. And this is a pretty big candle, so it's hard to have these big candles be reversed, because that's a lot for a stop loss to be. Don, I have not heard of that. Coach Dakota, can you purchase extra 150Ks when you get to XFA to copy trade at that time? Hidden gem, you can trade multiple combines. I don't know if I 100% understand that question, but you could trade multiple combines, and you could trade multiple express funded accounts. we're starting to find buyers here in the Nasdaq, holding the 900. We're holding 20,900 in the Nasdaq, and we're also holding 38,900 in the Nikkei. Not much. It really is a slow market tonight. Really is. I keep telling myself I'm thinking about closing out this Nikkei, but we're not moving anywhere. We're just going sideways. Yeah, of course I would have loved to close it down here, but we're just not going anywhere right now. We're just going sideways, and so still nothing's really happening in these markets. It's just been really quiet throughout the night. It started off pretty well. Gold, maybe we start to see some more selling pressure come in. We failed to break out higher on that one. Crude oil, let's take a look at that. Crude oil's pushing lower. Yeah, there's just not much happening tonight, everyone. It is Friday. Not too inclined of putting too many trades on and putting on too much risk. Mr. Mean Bean, yes, I do. How do you determine stop loss? Support and resistance. I will always say that stop losses to me are based off of technical analysis, very basic support and resistance. Yep. Should you use a VWAP anchor right now? I personally don't use the VWAP, but I know Coach Jay and other traders on Topstep really like it. How do you determine your stop loss? Do you have a set percentage of your my stop loss is strictly based off of market structure and how much I am willing to risk on a trade. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. We could take a look at Bitcoin. Going through here. Yeah, look at this. Bitcoin is looking more like this is a bottom. Let's do that. I mean, that's looking more like Bitcoin might just rally, right? We failed to break. We are now making higher lows, and if we break out, Bitcoin's looking pretty bullish now. It looked like maybe we might sell off, but on the 5-minute chart, it's looking bullish. On the daily chart, it's looking bearish. So, yeah, from this 5-minute chart, I wouldn't be surprised if we broke out, but the daily chart still looks bearish. Like, that doesn't change the daily chart structure. So maybe there is a reason, or maybe there is an argument that we can rotate back up towards these highs. I mean, maybe we rotate back up into the middle because, yeah, Bitcoin is consolidating. We've been obviously in this zone, whether you want to say that's the zone or this is the zone or whatever. I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin could rotate up there. But the daily chart is a little bit scary just because, we could see that sell off at any moment because we're hesitating here. 5 minutes looking bullish though. This 5 minute is looking bullish. Let's watch this. I could keep Bitcoin open for a minute to see if we can break to the long side. I'm still watching this Nikkei. Getting a little bit more of a movement now. You can see, right? What time is it? 8:39. Hold the line. What time frame does a 3-bar reversal start to lose its validity? 3-bar reversal is valid on any time frame. The higher the time frame, the more dependable it typically is. For example, a 3-bar reversal on a 1-minute chart is not as dependable as a 3-bar reversal on a daily chart or a weekly chart. Dakota, how do you withdraw from your live account while also building capital in your account? Is it a certain percentage you withdraw out each week? I do love Topstep's rules of 50% withdrawal. I think that's a very smart idea where if you make $1,000, you withdraw 500 of it. If you make $10,000, you withdraw 5,000 of it because you're paying yourself and you're letting the account grow. Now, remember, this is not financial advice. I did the risk disclosure. Some traders will withdraw 25%. Some traders would withdraw some more. It really depends on what your strategy is and what you believe is going to be best for you, right? Because after 30 profitable days of $200 or more, then you could withdraw 100%. Like, for example, like this account, I can withdraw 100% if I wanted to. Me personally, what I like to do in my personal accounts, let's just say for this account as an example, what I like to do is I like to keep a dollar amount balance. For example, if I wanted to keep this account at 350,000, I would withdraw everything above that. So if I want to keep this account at 350,000, I would withdraw, what is this, 28,000. So I would withdraw 28,000 just to keep my account balance at that. That's what I tend to do in my personal accounts, where it's like, well, maybe there's even an argument if I continue to do good. Let's say I make, another 30,000 and my account balance is now 40,000, 408,000. Then I'll just withdraw 8,000, and then anything above 400,000, I'll just keep withdrawing that. So it depends. There's so many different ways that you could do it, but I do love the way that Topstep has it structured about withdrawing half, because when you're withdrawing half, that's a decent amount to keep in the account and let it grow, and then that's nice. That's a nice payout. That's a nice paycheck. Why do you keep someone else's money? Wait, why do you keep money in someone else's account? This is my account. It's no one else's. It's my money. I mean, it's my live account, right? Standard, with that balance, why not trade personal? Man, we get in this, I don't know why or what it is. We keep getting into this personal stuff. Once again, and this is all, and I'm done answering questions regarding that tonight. I have personal accounts. This is just completely different. So anyway, that's a perfect 3-bar reversal on the hour chart for ES, right? Let's go ES. Let's go 1 hour chart. I don't see a 3-bar reversal on the hour chart. 3-bar reversal on the hour chart on the ES is going to be 59.62. 59.62. Yeah. It's basically a tool for teaching. I'm not sure what that means. Going through. You guys are something else. You guys are something else tonight. It's Friday night. Come on, guys. Nikkei is so slow. Yeah, that's why we're in slow markets, and it is a little bit slower than normal. Markets are not moving very much. It is much slower than normal. When in drawdown, do you ever lower your risk reward? I do not, Segi. So process over profits, everybody. Process over profits. It is plop. It's Friday. This is Friday's market. We're trading Friday's market. We have traders from around the world. As you guys can imagine, it is Friday. As of 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, this is Friday's market. Yep. Maybe it's probably still Thursday for a lot of traders because of wherever your time zone is. But yeah, as of right now, these are Friday's markets. When you take a payout, do you have to pay self-employment tax? Once again, we do have traders from around the world, and taxes depend on where you live. So the only thing I could ever suggest or advise when it comes to that is you want to talk to your local tax professional, right? Where I would never be able to know where you are, and I would never be able to know what your tax laws are from wherever you're at. So I could never give tax advice, especially on YouTube, right? Who's going to listen from tax advice from a guy on YouTube, right? That'd be insane. It's full moon, Bernie. Yeah. I'm just trying to read the chat. Chat could go pretty quick. 3-bar reversal, wait for closure, or just break. Dashiki, it depends on your strategy. Some traders like to wait for the 3-bar reversal to close. Other traders like to wait for it to just break and not for it to close. For example, here's a 5-minute chart on the Nasdaq, and the 3-bar reversal can technically be, here's the reversal bar, And 3-bar reversal can technically be if we break below that point, the low of this candle. Some traders will enter as soon as we break it. Some traders are perfectly fine with waiting until this candlestick closes and closes below it. I mean, there's so many different ways to trade one simple setup. Whatever it is, process over profits, develop a process, be consistent at it, whether it's doing it there, having your stop loss. I mean, I could say 1,000 ways to trade a 3-bar reversal and how to manage it. And yeah, so maybe there's some that just got in, for example. Maybe there's some that's waiting. Maybe there's some that's saying that this is not even a valid 3-bar reversal because of, maybe XYZ. I don't know. This is just an example. It's not advice. I'm not saying that's a setup. It's just a technical pattern that occurs. In your opinion, what are some pros and cons of using Hikinashi versus candlesticks? I have not used Hikinashi for a very, very long time, so I cannot give pros or cons regarding the Hikinashi. I trade candlesticks. Edward, Dakota, could you explain what a 3-bar reversal is to me? Everyone, where's the link? Where's the 3-bar reversal link? I need that on I need a button that just shoots out a 3-bar reversal link to a video of what it is. Like, boom, 3-bar reversal, boom. That's what it is. So Google it. Yeah, I feel like I explain it every single night here. Now it's okay to ask what a 3-bar reversal is. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that because we have new traders coming to Topstep all of the time. But if you Google, and this is a very simple tool, it's called Google, and I'm using Google Chrome, and you can Google 3-bar reversal, and there are many different examples of what a 3-bar reversal is. Here's a good example, right? There's a good example, and you can use it in many different ways. So, this is a nice tool. I mean, Google is a good tool where you can come in and you could search this, right? You could even search what is a double top pattern. So, and then maybe this will give you an idea of what a double top pattern is. And if you're new, and if these are some of the questions that you have, Google, it can be a really good tool. It's very basic. It's very simple and straightforward. And I would suggest it, right? There's no bad question. It's just that take some time, do some research, and go through and study, right? It should be very good. Chris Larson, yeah. I mean, sometimes that's what it takes, right? Where it's maybe they didn't realize it was that simple, because you'd be surprised. I've talked to traders and I've talked to new people who came in and it's what is this? And they don't realize how simple it can be from a pure technical standpoint, and oh, wow, I didn't know that's what it was, right? Maybe they were thinking it's this very complex pattern that's here in the markets. Carl, yeah, that's a gem. Google it. It's a useful tool. You'd be surprised on what you could learn by doing some research out there. I need to patent it. I need to find a way to patent it somewhere on. I swear, I'm surprised. I'm surprised on how much I've had to go through, and it's good though, because everyone has to start somewhere, right? Everybody has to start somewhere, from what is a candlestick to what is the Nasdaq to what is a stop loss. Everyone starts somewhere. So I'm happy to see traders ask those questions. That means we have new traders coming into the futures world. ChatGPT, ChatGPT is it blows my mind. I haven't used it very often, but yeah, it's insane. All right, everybody, 3 minutes left. 10 minutes left. 10 minutes left. So let's take a look. Let's run around the markets. Let's see if there's anything going on and get to some final questions. Looks like crude oil. This is a 5-minute chart. We're starting to hold this trend line still. It'd be interesting to see if we can hold this and either, have some type of a rally up towards 68.50, or if we're going to sell off and come down and test the 68 level. This is a decision zone. And so if there's a decision to be made, maybe this is one for a longer or short. And then Nasdaq, obviously, we've been watching that for a while. We're holding the 20,900s. So this is a good sign as of right now. Will this hold throughout the evening? I'm not sure. It's very hard to imagine it. If we take a look at the higher time frames, like in the hour, it's very bearish. We did break through this. This is a level of consolidation on the way up. I wouldn't be surprised if we see further, a further sell-off, maybe further continuation during London or even tomorrow morning. I am going to be on fast markets, so I'm excited for that. I always enjoy trading on fast markets with a team, because there's nothing like having some amazing people to trade with and to talk about markets. Trading is and can be very lonely a lot of the time, especially when you're by yourself looking at the markets. You can really drive yourself crazy. But when you have great people to talk with, like TopstepTV and everyone here on Topstep, it's nice. It passes the time and it helps with forcing trades, and it's nice to always see others' perspectives on the market. And then gold hourly chart, we are holding this. So this is going to be interesting to see if this is going to become a higher low for some type of consolidation or pullback. It is interesting because we did find this. This was resistance. We broke through. Looks like that resistance was trying to become resistance again early morning during the New York session. And tonight, it looks like we consolidated there right at the 2570s. And maybe this is a higher low for a rotation and test of these 2580s. I'm not sure. I wouldn't be surprised if we do get another retest of those 2580s tonight. But once again, I will be on fast markets, and we will see where we can finish it off. Let's finish a couple more questions, and we can call it a night after that. When in a drawdown, do you ever lower your risk? I think I answered that one. How do you tackle the trade when it hits stop loss, then trade works for you in your favor? That always happens. Not always, but it happens, right? That is part of trading, is that you can never be right 100% of the time. There is definitely going to be trades that will run up, hit your stop loss, and then turn around, and then you say, dang it, I was right. I knew which direction the market was going. However, it just happened to stop you out. That's happened. That's part of trading. Size down, maybe. If that happens to you a lot, then maybe lower your position size and maybe have a little bit wider of a stop, right? So if I wanted to risk $1,000, I could either get into 2 contracts now with my stop loss here, or if I want to give it a little bit more of a room to run, then I'll just keep it 1 contract and I'll move my stop loss. So I have a little bit more room for this trade to run. But for this one, I'm fine with having a tight stop. Yeah, just like this, the market could very well come up, hit me, stop me out, and then just sell off. It happens a lot. It happens more than anybody else wish it would happen. I don't like it when it happens. Nobody likes it when it happens, but it's the reality of trading. It's process over profits. Process over profits. I need to get a hoodie. I need to make that as a slogan. Markets are really good at testing your emotions. Markets are really good at testing your patience, and really good at really just pissing everyone off, because exactly like that, it'll run to your stops, it will turn around, it'll make you think you're wrong when you were right, and it'll make you think you're right when you were wrong, and everywhere in between. So just focus on process, don't think about the dollar amounts, and the better you can get at following a process, then the better you would be at following your process that will eventually turn into that consistency and making money. And then you could have that conversation and look at what it will take at scaling up and changing the size. Gold rallying coop. Go gold. Go gold. All right. Well, this trade, we'll see where this one plays out. I'm keeping my stop loss there, 39,005. See if we could have a bit of a sell-off. I don't know. Maybe before I go to bed, I close this if it doesn't go anywhere. We will see. I'll update everybody tomorrow morning during fast markets if you guys are very interested on how this trade plays out. But if it goes up, just assume I took a $500 loss. If it goes down, assume I made all the money in the world. But until then, I will see everybody bright and early in the morning. If not, Sunday night for slow markets. Everybody take care and enjoy the evening. Don't risk too much. It is Friday's trading.